So we're gonna start playing some Pokemon Unbound for no reason. Currently, I'm in a state of grinding because I have a lot of fixed mons that I would like to, keep on me and use them all the time. Not all of them are equally as important, but I do still want to train all of them, like properly EV train them and have them, do everything in a right way and all of that. So yeah, so this is gonna be like a overview of how I do it. So first of all, I'm gonna talk about like some statistics, like how does a Pokemon get the EVs? Like getting the EVs is pretty straightforward. You just beat a Pokemon, it gives you a certain type of EV, and you have to like get a lot of them. But why do we get EVs? So we can increase the stats of the Pokemon. Now, if you just keep feeding a Pokemon rare candies, it will level up, but it will not gain any, stat changes beyond 1 plus. So, say if your Pokemon gets a lot of rare candies and it just levels up, it will probably increase its attack stat by 1 or 2 or even 0 sometimes. So that's not very ideal, but when you have a lot of EVs, your Pokemon's stat can increase by up to 5 or even 7, depending on how much EVs it has and a lot of other factors. How do I stop recording? Man, these darn cats are so annoying. You better not come here and annoy me anymore because I'm gonna beat you up. Anyways, so back to the topic of like how stat calculations work. So say your Pokemon, say it's a Pikachu or like a Lucario or something, it has a stat of 100 on its attack. Now you know this, you want to like increase that attack stat. What do? Well, first of all, if you're just a normal casual player like I am, you just start to like grind on the EVs, get more EV attack EVs, and then just level up and just keep doing that. Eventually, your Pokemon will have like 200 attacks or something like that. But if you want to be slightly smarter, then I think I can give you a general summary of how these stat calculations work. It's kind of problematic. Like, if you look at the formula, it's gonna give you nightmares. But it's pretty straightforward when you're not actually using the formula like speedrunners. I'm a casual player. I am looking into the equation and I want to get the maximum yield per level up. Let me really quickly pull on that. The hell? Like, let me really quickly look. Nah. Bro, why does it have to show me ads? Anyways, let me really quickly look into the actual formula for the thing. It's gonna be something like. There we go. It's kind of really okay. So these are the actual like formulas that are used to calculate the stats of a Pokemon. From what you can see, HP is different compared to every other stat because yes, you can't really influence HP all that much just because it doesn't have that nature effect. So first of all, a stats increase like is it's not actually an increase. Say your Pokemon has a current stat of 100, like I said earlier. Now, what happens is this formula actually recalculates the whole stat of the mon. Privacy. Anyways, I keep have to like break like restart the recording. I keep forgetting where I was. But anyways, looking at this picture, just look at it. So basically every stat gets a nature boost except for the HP stat, which is not affected by any nature of a Pokemon. Now you have to understand like four things here. The most easiest is the L, which means the Pokemon's level. and then there's EV, effort values, and then there's IV, individual values, and then there's B, which is base stat. Let me tell you how this thing works. First of all, your base stat is basically the stat that you see on any Pokédex of a Pokemon. So say I have Lucario, right? I'm gonna pull up another one real quick. This is my Goldex, the thing I use. Let's just search up Lucario. I've got Lucario. Now let's go into the details. As you can see, this is a base stat. See, these are base stats. This is why there's always a creep for like better mons with higher stat totals, or like how do I say, higher base stats. Now Lucario is pretty trashy considering it's only 525, and you should actually aim for any things that are like above 580. But I still got a Lucario because I love Lucarios. It's just, I don't know, famous, I guess. I'll probably replace it with some better attacking Pokemon or better offensive Pokemon. But that's a discussion for another time, which is gonna come over when I'm going to talk about team composition. Right now, I just want to play, and I'm taking too much time explaining, so I'm gonna speed it up a bit. So these are like the base stats. These are very important for the equations or like the formula. So the higher your base stat is, the more likely that your Pokemon's stat is going to be, higher than other Pokemons. It's not about like your individual Pokemon, it's about the species. Say Bulbasaur has like an attack of, I don't know, 60 or something, or maybe 40. It's mainly a special attack. Anyways, so if no matter how much I EV train that Bulbasaur, it will never be equally matched. It will never be equally matched to the EV trained Lucario, because Lucario just has a higher attack base stat. So that's one thing. And let me pull up the equation again. What the heck? Anyway, let me pull up the equation again. So as you can see, this is very important because like looking into it, there's two B's, right? 2B, and then there's plus IV, and then there's the actual EV thing. Now how your Pokemon will gain like more stats, or let's just call them gains, stat increase as gains. Your Pokemon doesn't actually get any gains. The game fully recalculates the Pokemon's stats like from scratch. So say your Pokemon is level 50 right now, so L will be 50, and then there's IVs, which is like the thing for individual Pokemon. That's why you need to get better Pokemons of that same species. Say I get 20 Lucarios, and I'm gonna take the one that has the highest IVs, and then there's base stats. And yeah, that's just species. Like I'm taking Lucario because it has a very high attacking stat, and I want that. So that's basically it. And then there's the nature buffer. So how it increases, it's just kind of like a very small amount, but it definitely affects the whole Pokemon's growth overall. It's going to be like, say you have a modest Pokemon, it will probably get, what does a modest nature do? I don't remember specifically, but okay, let's talk about Jolly. So when if your Pokemon is Jolly nature, it's gonna get a slight buff on speed at the cost of special attack stat. Say this stat is in calculating special attack increase. So if your Pokemon is Jolly nature, the nature will multiply this whole final product of the equation by 0.9, which is a decrease, 10% decrease. So yeah, and if it's calculating the speed stat, which the Jolly nature boosts, then you get 1.1 multiplier, which is 10% increase. So yeah, that's how the buffing works. Then there's EVs. Now okay, whatever these equations are, I'm not going to explain that to you. Any high schooler can understand it. So what do you take away from this? From this you take away that you need EVs, IVs, and higher base stat. So to get the best attacking Pokemon, you're first gonna have to choose the species with the highest base stats. That's why I chose Lucario as a attacking Pokemon, because it has a decent attacking stat. But then again, let's look into the IVs. Then that is going to be your individual Pokemon. Say you capture 20 Lucarios, you're gonna take the one that has the highest IV stats, which are generally not calculatable because they are not shown anywhere unless you play in a game that's above generation 6 or like generation 5 or something. They have a key item, it's called the stat scanner. You should probably see the IVs there. I also have that one in this game, so I can calculate the, like, I can see the IV stats. That's like a better way to compare a Pokemon's perfect IV stats or whatnot. And IV values are starting from 0 to 31. So if you want to increase your, like, gains or whatever, you're gonna have to aim for 31 or at least above 29, because below that is, slightly less good. But people actually aim for the 31 one anyways. So there's 31 on IVs, and then there's EVs. EVs have a bit of a thing because you can like grind on them very fast. So it's always divided by 4. So say you have 4 attack EVs, it's gonna get divided by 4, and the total sum of EV gain is going to just be 1. So yeah, that's one thing. Now you have to like add EVs to a Pokemon just like that. So you have to constantly grind against a lot of Pokemons and make sure you get enough EVs. Once you level up, this EV, is used up, and it's just used up as whatever. So you have to make sure you start gaining the EVs from a lower level. That's why you shouldn't feed your Pokemons rare candies at the start. At the start, you should grind wild Pokemons or wherever you can get those EVs in the fastest way. And when you're like very high level and you need like to level up faster, and you do have the EVs on you, that's when you should use rare candies. So yeah, that's it. So how do I improve and make my Pokemon stronger? I just train them with EVs, and yeah, that's it. But you have to make sure your Pokemon does actually have good base stat and IVs. And yeah, the final booster is the level multiplication, which is like your Pokemon will get more gains as it levels up. Say a Pokemon of level 60, it can get about a maximum gain of plus 7 on one stat. And if it's a Pokemon of level 20, the max it can get is probably 4. So yeah, that's also an important fact. Anyways, overall it just comes down to the fact that you need to grind on EVs. So yeah, there's that. Now let me start the game for real. Oh, I forgot to fix my setup. Now this game is fun and all, but like anyways, this is fun and all, but I'm gonna, load from my save points or whatnot. Anyways, let me really quickly fix my settings, which is the layouts. I like stuff to be easier to touch on because I don't like to move my fingers around all that much. Largest, largest, slightly to the side, slightly to the side. This button is annoying to click. Slightly bigger, the speed up thing, the load thing. I only use the load one when I want to cheat on like boss fights, but I don't want to do that, and that's why I'm EV training, so I can like, you know, floor all of the bosses. Right now I'm facing a very hard trouble because at this part of the story I'm supposed to fight members of the Light of the Ruin. They're being attacked by a bunch of those shadow warriors. And those things are really hard to beat. Like, they're darn strong. They're level 70. My highest Pokemon is 73. And they're all like 73 or whatnot. So I have to level all of my Pokemons up. Also, I need to find like specific things. Now, after this, I'm gonna have to start talking about team composition. So your Pokemon should have coverage moves and then moves that it has a better chance with. So let me you go on this side, okay? So generally, when you have a Pokemon, you're just gonna be like, I don't know, doing something. Wait, let me wait a minute. What? What was that? Anyways, okay. Anyway, so yeah, I was training on the some Pokemon, but I'm gonna show you my teams, like my main Pokemons first. So these are all of my main Pokemons. They're inside the raid team safe like box, so I can use them on raids. These are utility Pokemons, and these are some Pokemons I found interesting, but they were like not useful, like this air shooting. Yeah, it's good, but like it's not bulky enough to do anything. It just keeps dying to wild Pokemons as well. So yeah, Mankey, because why not? I wanted to get this because I wanted to farm Dream Mist, but that's a bit of a far-fetched thing for now. These are like random Pokemons I caught on the raid battles. Yeah. And then I have this set. This is like the nature hunting. So whenever I want to catch a Pokemon, I grab the nature and then I put this like thing in front. Such as this is a Jolly one. Say I wanna catch a Jolly Staraptor, I would take this Pokemon in the front of my seat. Not my seat. What do you mean? Like it's the first slot of your team in your party. And due to the synchronizability it has, the Staraptor has a 60% chance of being, jolly, so that's nice. I've got all the natures that I want. Yeah, this is useful. So I don't have to like worry about anything. But even if I don't get the right nature, but the Pokemon has like really good stats, I can just go to the guy in Town and tell him to. Oh, these are the useless Pokemons. And I have one legendary here. I randomly got it. It's like a free thing that you get throughout the story mode. Which Pokemon? Oh, I was training my Mamoswine. Another good thing is I have the Macho Brace. That thing increases EV collection by like a certain amount. My Macho Brace is at level 7 and it increases the gained EV by 7. So say I beat a Pokemon that gives you like 1 attack EV, and if the Pokemon that beat it holds a Macho Brace, it will get 7 attack EVs. Now divide that by 4, you have like 1.9 or 8 times the attack EV gaining. And then the other stuff are inputted into the formula, and that's basically a stat increase for you. So I was training my Mamoswine. I also looked into this area. In Pokemon Unbound, this area is specifically made for EV training. Also, I got like a random rare chance of catching like Pokemons. I was catching a lot of like swim-ups to get the right Mamoswine thing, and one of them had a Pokerus, and then I made sure I had a lot of Pokemon with Pokerus. That's why these ones are in my utility box, because all of them have Pokerus. If you don't know what Pokerus is, Pokerus increases EV gains by 2 times. Yeah. So that's a nice one. My Mamoswine also has like its Pokerus is gone. Well, anyways, I still have the Macho Brace that's gonna increase it by 7. So that's nice. I should actually increase the level of my Macho Brace even more. I just have to give the guy who gave me the Macho Brace like 8 Everstones, and he's gonna upgrade my Macho Brace to level 8. I think it can go all the way to 10. I don't have that many Everstones on me for the time being, so So yeah, now this is a very grindy path. Like my I just have to beat up a bunch of trainers. Look at my Mammoth One's stats. It's currently okay enough, but the special defense is not high enough, and I want the attack to be even higher than the speed stat. All of that stuff. So I usually just increase the speed on 4x speed and then just keep grinding, which is good for me, but it's probably not fun to watch from the audience point of view. I'm gonna decrease the thing. So there's that. Now I'm gonna have to fight this character because this psychic girl actually gives you special defense. She has 3 Pokemons, all 3 give 1 special defense each. So after battling her once, I get 3 special defense EVs, and multiply that by the Macho Brace boost, which is 7 times, you're gonna get 21 EVs. Divided by 4, and you have, think for a moment, people. No guesses. Dumb people. Anyways, you're gonna get like 5. Then that's gonna be added up with the IVs, and then the base stat, and then divided by 100, and then times 5, and then times the nature. So that's the whole equation. So I'm gonna look into the details of Mamoswine. It's a jolly nature. It increases speed at the cost of special attack. That's why my speed is really high, but my special attack is low. Now I intentionally don't train the special attack because not only is Mamoswine's base stat for special attack is really low, it doesn't have any good special moves. All of the moves that it has are actually high physical attacking damages. So yeah, it's a physical Pokemon that does physical damage, so I need the attack stat, which is what I have been training, and it's actually on 210. Now if I got a nature such as Adamant that increases attack at the cost of special attack, I would have probably been at around 300 attack by now, but I want my Mamoswine to be faster than like the general mons, so I can actually hit first, because if I don't hit first, I get hit first, which is not good considering Mamoswine's defenses are really low. It does have a high HP, but still it will do a lot of damage. So I need to hit first, which is an important thing, and that's important and whatnot. So let's fight Angelica with her Gothia. The problem is I play on vanilla difficulty, so all of them are just level 15. I think I like it that way because it's easier to grind on them. Let me turn on turbo. Okay, I can now just hold the thing and it just keeps doing the thing for me. Yeah. So I also have the stat scanner. Let me show you the stat scanner. My Mamoswine's IVs are not that good. Especially the special defense is just low as fake. I don't want to say the curse word, but anyways, that's why the special defense has been lagging behind so much, because the IV for it is really low. Now another thing you have to remember, that the maximum amount of EVs you can put into a Pokemon is 510 for some reason, and it goes around in different ways. That type of calculation is kind of problematic and stuff, but I don't know. Oh, I can change the name? Damn. Mamo. Funny. I can also look into what moves it can learn by leveling up. Currently it doesn't have any other moves that I wanted to learn. Oh, I do want it to learn Icicle Crash. That's a solid move. It's more powerful than Ice Fang. Ice Fang does 60 damage. It's 65 damage. Icicle Crash has the same, but it does 85 damage. I should also like teach y'all how to calculate the damage. It's generally like the attack stat. Like that's a whole different topic, but in general you can think of it as the stat your Pokemon has times the base power of the move that you're using, and then times the buffers like boosters, such as if it's like the same type move, such as Mamoswine is a ground type and ice type Pokemon. So if it uses a ground type and ice type Pokemon, it gets a boost of 1.5 times, or and is it 1.5 or 1.2? I don't know. That buffer. And then there's the times of any other move, such as if it's a super effective move, it gets that times 2 buffer. And if like some other moves are there, such as setup moves, such as if I use sword stance, I will get a 2 times buff, and that's also gonna get multiplied. Now the entire product of the whole all those stuff divided by the defense stat of the mon that is getting hit. So say I'm hitting a Onyx that has a defense level of say 100 or something. It's gonna divide the whole thing, like the multiple stuff's product, and that's whatever that equals to is going to be the final damage that is actually dealt to the Pokemon. That's why you want to increase the base power of your move as well as the stat of your Pokemon, and also increase the defense of your Pokemon, so when your Pokemon gets hit, it takes a lot less damage. So since these are multiplication stuff, I have to mention that if a move has like 5 times more base power, or say 5 times more, or like even 10 times more base damage, like not 10 times, say that's like 75 base power and the other move is 85 base power, it's really not much of a difference and I wouldn't consider changing. But if the difference is 20 or something, such as for Ice Fang, which does 65 damage, and then there's Icicle Crash, which does 85 damage, let's say 20 times difference, and that actually does affect the final output a lot more. These are multiplication stuff, so the like impact is not linear, nor is it like exponential. It's a bit varied. It's like a slope, but a weirdly curvy slope. Anyways, you just need to look into that anyways. It also goes back to the fact that if your Pokemon's base stat is below 100, it's just not good. And if it's like below anywhere from like 130, it's not good for specialization. Mamoswine has a very high attack damage of like 110. That's kind of impressive. Not the most impressive. It's just impressive enough. It also has high HP, which is good, meaning it can hit and tank a few hits with enough defense stats. So yeah, that's calculations for you. Now I'm just trying to get special defense EVs for the time being. So I'm basically just gonna continue bullying this poor child and keep getting the EVs I want. So yeah, that's basically how it works. I wish I could see how much EVs I have collected so far. That would have been such a big help. But from what I understand, I have at least four, eight gain stats for special defense by now. If I put the whole thing into the equation, I'll actually get what I can get. That requires a lot of calculation. You can do that yourself. I usually just use this save option, and then I like where's the feed it one rare candy. So if I feed it the rare candy once, and I can check like what type of boosting it's getting. Turns out it's not getting any boost on special defense, which means like the calculations come down to like not getting any buffers. I still have a lot of EVs stored up for HP and attack, But I don't want that right now. I already have that. What I do need is special defense. So I'm just gonna click the load button, which is gonna put me back into this state before I've used the rare candy, and that means I can just continue grinding as long as I need to. So yeah, that's EV training for you. I do this type of EV training for every stat. Usually when I have to do a more balanced type stuff, I fight all the trainers here. But right now I only need the special defense. So I'm only fighting the special defense trainer. So you do this like 70 times, and then you'll have a strong Mamoswine with high special defense. Okay, that's an EV class for you. For casual players, not for speedrunners. You should probably go to someone else who knows this stuff better. Anyways, take care. Bye.